Welcome to our channel Valuable Coins All World. In this video, I gave you information about United States of America Washington quarter dollar, which are most valuable and rare. If you interested, please see this full video. Thanks. Top 1. In 1965, a significant change was underway in the United States coinage system, affecting the design and composition of one of the most iconic coins in American history, the Washington quarter dollar. A coin that would evolve through time, carry tales of economic shifts, and eventually hold a special place in the hearts of collectors and historians alike. In this video, we're going to dive deep into the 1965 Washington quarter, not just as a piece of currency, but as a symbol of its time, its journey, and its surprising appeal to collectors today. The story of the 1965 Washington quarter is tied to a turning point in American coinage. Before this year, the U.S. quarters were made from 90% silver and 10% copper, a familiar composition that had been in use for many decades. However, the mid-1960s saw a sharp increase in the cost of silver, and this posed a significant issue for the U.S. Mint. The price of silver was rising so rapidly that it was becoming more expensive to make coins than their actual face value. In response to this, the U.S. Mint decided to make a bold move in 1965. They transitioned from the classic silver quarters to a coin made of a copper-nickel-clad composition. The new quarters, including the 1965 Washington quarter, contained no silver at all, only a thin layer of copper surrounded by a layer of nickel. This change was a practical necessity, but it also marked a shift in the appearance and weight of the coins. For many, the 1965 Washington quarter became a symbol of both a changing economy and a new era in American history. While the design of the quarter itself remained largely unchanged, with George Washington's profile still gracing the obverse side and the eagle perched on the reverse, the material change was far more noticeable to those who had been accustomed to the feel of the heavier silver coins. Yet, despite the shift in composition, the coin still carried the legacy of Washington's image, which had been on the quarter since 1932. This transition wasn't just about materials, it was also about reflecting a moment of transformation. The United States was in the midst of major political, social, and cultural shifts. The civil rights movement was gaining momentum, the Vietnam War was intensifying, and the country was navigating through a period of economic uncertainty. In many ways, the Washington quarter in 1965 encapsulated that time. An era of change, but also of continuity. George Washington, the first president of the United States, remained an enduring symbol of the nation's foundations, stability, and ideals, even as the physical coin itself evolved. Though the composition of the 1965 Washington quarter was entirely different, there was still an air of nostalgia surrounding the coin. It was part of a series that would become a cornerstone of American currency, and collectors who had grown up with the silver quarters began to take notice of the new change. However, what would later capture the imagination of numismatists, the collectors who study coins, was not just the shift in metal but the rare variety of the 1965 Washington quarter. While most 1965 quarters were minted with the new copper-nickel composition, there was a small batch of quarters that were mistakenly struck using silver blanks, leftovers from the previous year's production. These error coins were a rare anomaly that would soon be sought after by collectors. The value of these 1965 silver quarters would only grow over time, as they represented not just an interesting mistake, but a piece of American history that bridged two very different periods of coinage. First, the public didn't fully realize the potential value of these error coins. But as time passed, and more collectors turned their attention to the rare specimens, the 1965 Washington quarter began to command significant attention. The error coins, made of silver, were not just another piece of currency. They were an artifact from a pivotal moment in U.S. history. Over the years, collectors would pay increasing amounts to own a piece of this unique era. Now, let's talk about why the 1965 Washington quarter, especially the silver error coins, can be worth so much. It's not just about the rarity of these coins, it's about the context. These coins represent a moment in American history when change was occurring at a rapid pace, both in terms of social and political movements and in the very currency used by the nation. When you hold a 1965 Washington quarter in your hand, you're not just holding a coin. You're holding a story of transition, of challenge, and of resilience. So, what makes these 1965 quarters so valuable? Let's consider the fact that they are incredibly rare. For one, the error coins are not easy to find. The production of silver quarters in 1965 was a mistake, an anomaly that happened during the switch in materials. The vast majority of 1965 quarters are made of copper-nickel, and only a small number of silver quarters were mistakenly minted. Finding one of these coins is like uncovering a piece of lost history. The number of error coins in circulation is so low that they have become a symbol of rarity, and with rarity comes value. Additionally, as with all collectibles, the appeal of these quarters lies in their story. These coins were part of a transition, a time when America was grappling with its identity and direction. Holding one of these coins is like holding a snapshot of that moment in time. Whether you're a collector or just someone with an appreciation for history, the 1965 Washington quarter resonates on a deeper level. But let's get to the part you've been waiting for, the value of this coin today. The value of a regular 1965 Washington quarter is minimal due to its widespread circulation and common composition. However, the error coins, made from silver, can fetch an astounding amount in the market. Some have sold for tens of thousands of dollars, and in rare cases, one of these coins can be worth upwards of $189,700. Yes, you heard that correctly. Almost $190,000 for a single coin that was originally worth just 25 cents. This value doesn't just come from the rarity of the silver era coins themselves, but also from the demand among collectors who are looking to add these rare pieces to their collections. It's a reminder that even something as simple as a coin can hold immense value when it represents history, rarity, and the unique circumstances under which it was produced. As you can see, the 1965 Washington quarter is far more than just a piece of currency. It's a relic of a significant time in American history, a coin that connects us to the past while reminding us of the ever-changing nature of the world around us. Whether you're a coin collector or someone who appreciates historical artifacts, the 1965 Washington quarter offers a glimpse into a fascinating period of American culture and numismatics. In conclusion, the 1965 Washington quarter is more than just a coin. It's a snapshot of a changing America. From its design to its composition, and most notably the error coins that have become highly sought after by collectors, this coin tells a story of transition, innovation, and the lasting legacy of George Washington himself. And with values reaching as high as $189,700, it's clear that this humble quarter has become a treasure in the eyes of collectors worldwide. So, next time you come across a 1965 Washington quarter, remember, there's a lot more to it than meets the eye. And who knows, you might just be holding a rare piece of American history worth a small fortune. Top 2. The 1979 Washington quarter dollar is a coin that might seem simple at first glance, but when you dive into its story, you'll discover it's far from ordinary. Like many coins, it carries with it a sense of history, evolution, and even the thrill of discovery for collectors. In today's video, we're going to explore the 1979 Washington quarter dollar, not just as a piece of currency, but as a part of a larger tale about the American economy, coinage changes, and the growing world of numismatics. To begin, we need to take a look at the history surrounding the Washington quarter itself. The coin, first introduced in 1932, featured the image of the first president of the United States, George Washington. Its design was meant to honor Washington's leadership and his role in shaping the nation's foundation. The Washington quarter remained largely unchanged throughout the decades, save for minor adjustments to design elements and minting processes. By the time 1979 rolled around, the quarter had been a familiar part of American currency for over 4 decades. But in 1979, there were shifts happening not only in the U.S. Mint's operations, but also in American culture. The world was experiencing rapid technological advancements, the rise of a global economy, and new trends in art and design. And in this dynamic environment, coins, like the Washington quarter, were evolving as well. The 1979 Washington quarter maintained the same iconic obverse featuring Washington's profile. On the reverse side, the design remained true to its roots with the bald eagle perched with outstretched wings, emblematic of American strength and freedom. However, the year 1979 marked the end of the series of coins that had been minted with a 40% silver content since 1965. The Washington quarter's composition switched to a copper-nickel-clad mix, further solidifying its role in the post-silver era of U.S. coinage. Now, you may wonder, why 1979? Well, that was the year when the U.S. Mint began a new era for many of its coin types, including the quarter. These coins were part of the circulating currency that would shape everyday transactions across the nation. However, much like other coins of this era, there was an unexpected twist, specifically regarding the minting process and the limited production of certain coins in certain mints. As we delve deeper into the 1979 Washington quarter, it's important to understand the significance of the minting facilities themselves. The U.S. Mint operates several locations, and the coins struck at each of these locations could have slight variations in appearance, especially in terms of the mint mark. In 1979, quarters were produced at 3 different mints: Philadelphia, no mint mark; Denver, D mint mark; and San Francisco, S mint mark. Each of these mints had its own characteristics, and collectors began to take notice of any differences in the coin's designs, which could impact the overall value. However, the real intrigue surrounding the 1979 Washington quarter revolves around a particularly rare variant. There were a limited number of 1,979 quarters that were struck with an error known as the wide rim variety. This anomaly occurred during the production process when certain quarters were struck with a noticeably wider gap between the rim of the coin and the date and lettering. Though these wide rim quarters were only produced in small quantities, they quickly became a coveted find for collectors who recognized their rarity. But the excitement doesn't end there. The real collector appeal of the 1979 Washington quarter comes from its connection to the broader world of numismatics, the study of coins, their history, and their place in culture. The 1979 Washington quarter, while not inherently valuable for the average person who may still find one in their change, became a sought-after piece for those who specialize in coin collecting. It is in these rare varieties and unique minting errors that collectors find not just a coin, but a treasure that represents history in its most tangible form. Collectors are always on the lookout for coins with special characteristics, whether it's an error coin, a rare mint mark, or a unique design flaw. In the case of the 1979 Washington quarter, the wide rim error is what sets it apart. Some of these coins have been known to fetch thousands of dollars at auctions, with serious collectors eagerly bidding for the chance to own a piece of this limited production. Over time, as collectors started to realize just how rare these coins were, the value began to rise. What was once a coin worth only 25 cents could now be worth much more. Some of these 1979 wide rim quarters have sold for upwards of $1,000 or more, depending on their condition and provenance. But the true gem of this series, the most sought-after coin in the collection, has gone for significantly higher prices. Are you ready for the big reveal? The highest known sale price for a 1979 Washington quarter has been a jaw-dropping $138,900. Yes, you read that correctly. A single coin, originally worth just 25 cents, was sold for nearly $139,000. That's a significant increase from its original value, and it underscores the unique appeal of certain coins that become rare collectibles over time. So why does a coin like the 1979 Washington quarter hold such value? It's not just the rarity of the wide rim variety or the uniqueness of the minting process. It's the way these coins capture a specific moment in time. The 1979 quarter wasn't just minted as part of a currency system. It was minted during an era of change and growth in the United States. The economy was shifting, the world was changing, and every quarter struck was a tiny marker of history. And for those collectors lucky enough to own a rare error coin from this period, that connection to history is a piece of treasure in itself. In the world of coin collecting, stories like this remind us that value doesn't always come from rarity alone. It's the story behind the coin, its journey through history, and its ability to resonate with those who seek to uncover its secrets that makes it truly special. The 1979 Washington quarter is more than just a coin. It's a part of American heritage, a piece of history that can hold tremendous value for those who appreciate it. Whether you're a seasoned collector or someone just starting to explore the world of coins, the 1979 Washington quarter is one to keep an eye on. You never know when you might come across one of these rare and valuable pieces, and when you do, you'll be holding a part of American history that could be worth far more than you ever imagined. Top 3. In 1983, the United States Mint continued its long-standing tradition of producing the Washington quarter, a coin that had become an iconic part of American currency since its introduction in 1932. However, unlike many years before, the 1983 Washington quarter carries with it more than just historical significance. It's a coin that encapsulates a critical moment in American coinage, a blend of precision, change, and, surprisingly, value. In today's video, we're going to dive into the 1983 Washington quarter, exploring its story, its composition, its appeal to collectors, and, most importantly, the reason why it can be worth as much as $126,000. First, let's set the stage. By the early 1980s, the United States was firmly in a post-silver coinage era. The 1965 shift in coin composition from silver to copper-nickel had already long passed, and by 1983, coins like the Washington quarter were composed of a copper-nickel-clad mix. The silver content had been eliminated from all circulating quarters, and the U.S. Mint was focused on producing coins that were both affordable to make and durable in everyday circulation. Yet, despite the changes in materials, the design of the Washington quarter remained remarkably consistent. The 1983 Washington quarter was no different in design from its predecessors, featuring George Washington's profile on the obverse and the American eagle on the reverse. These features had become so familiar to Americans by this point that the quarter was seen as both a symbol of the nation's strength and a reliable form of currency. At the time, there was little indication that a coin as seemingly ordinary as the 1983 Washington quarter would go on to capture the attention of collectors and become a sought-after item in the world of numismatics. Now, let's talk about how the 1983 quarter stands out among the sea of coins produced that year. Like most coins in circulation, the 1983 Washington quarter was minted in both Philadelphia and Denver. The coins from these mints were stamped with their respective mint marks, no mint mark for Philadelphia and a D for Denver. These distinctions were crucial for collectors, as they helped differentiate between the various coins produced across the country. However, the real intrigue surrounding the 1983 Washington quarter comes from a very specific anomaly that occurred during its minting: the occurrence of error coins. The error coin that would eventually drive up the value of the 1983 Washington quarter was not something the U.S. Mint intentionally produced. It was, in fact, a mistake, a rare and highly sought-after variety of the coin that was struck with a unique flaw during production. This error was the result of a die clash, where the dies used to strike the coins collided with each other or with another surface, creating unintended marks on the coin. For coin collectors, this was no small issue. The rarity of these error coins, combined with their visual uniqueness, made them desirable for those who prided themselves on having a coin collection that stood out from the rest. But what makes this particular error so significant? It's the fact that these 1983 Washington quarters are not just minor misprints. The die clash created distinctive and recognizable marks on the coin, often appearing as strange indentations, unusual textures, or misplaced design elements. These visual anomalies were not just random imperfections, they were symbols of an incredibly rare mistake, a mistake that would set the coin apart from all other 1983 quarters in circulation. As the years passed, the value of these error coins began to rise. Initially, these coins were overlooked by many as simply flawed pieces of currency, but as collectors became more educated about the potential of rare varieties, the demand for these error-struck quarters grew. Collectors, numismatists, and even investors began to realize the true worth of these coins, especially those that had been well preserved. The error coins were no longer just curiosities. They had become prized pieces of American numismatic history. As the years went on, the 1983 Washington quarter continued to captivate collectors. What was once a coin worth just 25 cents was now being traded for hundreds, then thousands of dollars. However, the true shock came when one of these rare, error-struck 1983 Washington quarters sold at auction for a staggering amount: $126,000. Yes, that's right. One single coin, which originally had a face value of just 25 cents, was sold for $126,000. This sale is a perfect example of how valuable a rare coin can become when it's part of a unique and historical series. The 1983 Washington quarter, with its error, is an embodiment of the unexpected, and that's what makes it so exciting for collectors. While most of us might think of a coin like the 1983 quarter as just a simple piece of currency, the reality is that this particular coin has the potential to be much more than that. It's a piece of history, a rare mistake that has become a treasure for those who have the knowledge and luck to find it. So, what makes this coin worth so much? It's not just the error itself, though that certainly plays a major role. It's also the rarity of these error coins. The U.S. Mint produces billions of coins each year, and the vast majority are produced without flaws. The error-struck 1983 Washington quarters represent a rare misstep in the production process, making them highly sought after by those who are passionate about rare coins. Add to that the condition of the coin, its preservation, and its provenance, and you've got a recipe for a valuable collector's item. For those who might be wondering how to find one of these rare, error-struck coins, it's important to note that they are not easy to come by. The 1983 Washington quarter error coins are extremely rare, and the likelihood of stumbling upon one in circulation is very low. As such, they've become a staple in the world of high-end numismatics. Many collectors search through coin rolls or attend auctions in the hopes of acquiring one of these elusive gems. The best chance to obtain one is through reputable coin dealers, auctions, and specialized markets where rare coins are traded. At the end of the day, the 1983 Washington quarter serves as a reminder of the fascinating world of coin collecting, a world where something as small as a 25-cent piece can carry significant value. The story of this coin shows us that even the most mundane objects can hold extraordinary worth, especially when they carry with them the story of a rare mistake and a unique place in history. So, next time you come across a 1983 Washington quarter, remember, it might just be a regular coin, or it could be one of the rare error varieties worth a small fortune. The value of this simple coin may surprise you, and you might just be holding a piece of history that could be worth $126,000. Top 4. The 1984 Washington quarter dollar is one of those coins that, at first glance, might seem like just another ordinary piece of American currency. After all, quarters have been circulating for decades, and in 1984, they were still part of the well-known Washington quarter series that began back in 1932. However, as with many coins, there's far more to the story than meets the eye. The 1984 Washington quarter is not just a coin. It's a fascinating example of how minor differences, historical context, and rare events can elevate the value of something that was originally worth just 25 cents. Let's rewind to the year 1984. The United States was living through an era of political and economic change. Ronald Reagan was in his second term as president, and the economy was starting to recover from a recession. Meanwhile, the U.S. Mint was hard at work, churning out coins for everyday transactions. Most people didn't think twice about the quarters they used to buy coffee, a candy bar, or pay for parking. But behind the scenes, the Mint was still experimenting and making adjustments to improve the quality and appearance of coins. This is where the 1984 Washington quarter enters the spotlight. By 1984, the Washington quarter had already been in circulation for more than 50 years. The coin had undergone several changes over its lifetime, with modifications to its design and composition along the way. Since 1965, the Washington quarter had been made of a copper-nickel-clad mixture, completely replacing the silver content that had once been a hallmark of the quarter's composition. So, while the design remained mostly unchanged, the material had evolved to ensure the coin was both affordable to produce and durable enough to withstand years of use. But as we all know, things don't always stay the same. Coin collectors and enthusiasts began to notice small differences in the way certain coins were minted, particularly those from 1984. You see, during the minting process, it's common for subtle variations to occur. Sometimes these are simply the result of regular wear and tear on the dies used to stamp the coins. But on rare occasions, these variations result in what collectors call errors or varieties. These errors are far from imperfections. They're actually treasures to collectors who are on the lookout for rare and unique pieces. In the case of the 1984 Washington quarter, there's a specific variety that has captured the attention of the numismatic community, the 1984 double die obverse. This error occurred during the production of certain 1984 quarters, where the die used to strike the coin had a slight misalignment. The result was a doubling of the image on the obverse side of the coin, most noticeably on the word Liberty and the date 1984. This kind of error can happen when a coin is struck more than once in a slightly different position, resulting in a blurry or doubled image. To the casual observer, this might look like a regular 1984 quarter, but to a trained eye, it's clear that something unusual happened during the minting process. This doubling effect is incredibly rare and has made the 1984 double die obverse Washington quarter highly sought after by collectors. If you happen to find one of these error coins, you're holding something that is not just a mistake but a piece of history, an anomaly that occurred in the mass production of American coinage. Why does this error make the 1984 Washington quarter so valuable? The answer lies in rarity. Even though millions of quarters were minted in 1984, only a very small number of them exhibited the double die obverse error. The rest of the coins were minted without issue, leaving the double die varieties as true rarities. And in the world of coin collecting, rarity is a key factor in determining value. The fewer there are, the higher the demand, and thus, the higher the price. Over time, collectors began to seek out these error coins, and the value of the 1984 double die Washington quarter began to rise. What was once a coin that could be found in anyone's pocket now became a coveted item for collectors. The more collectors learned about this error, the more they were willing to pay for a specimen in good condition. But the 1984 Washington quarter story doesn't end with just the double die obverse variety. Even coins that are in mint condition, but without the error, can hold some value due to their historical significance. After all, this was a time when the U.S. Mint was still using the classic Washington design that had been in circulation for decades. It was also a time when Americans were experiencing significant changes in their economy, political landscape, and global influence. The 1984 quarter may not have the same striking silver content it once had, but it remains a symbol of a unique moment in American history. Now, let's talk about what these coins can actually fetch in today's market. You may have heard that some coins are worth far more than their face value, and that is certainly true for the 1984 Washington quarter. As the error coins have gained more recognition, their prices have increased. One of the most sought-after examples, the 1984 double die obverse variety, has been known to sell for quite a hefty sum. In some cases, well-preserved versions of this error coin can fetch prices in the thousands. But there's one coin that stands out above the rest, a true rarity that has made collectors' jaws drop. One of the most famous 1984 Washington quarter error coins was sold for an extraordinary amount at auction. This particular coin, in flawless condition and with clear evidence of the double die obverse error, was purchased for the unbelievable price of $118,000. That's right, $118,000 for a coin originally valued at just 25 cents. This sale serves as a reminder that the world of coin collecting is not just about acquiring currency. It's about uncovering hidden gems, finding rare pieces of history, and of course, making a profitable investment. So, what makes this coin worth so much? It's a combination of rarity, condition, and historical context. The 1984 Washington quarter, especially the double die variety, is a treasure because it represents a rare occurrence in the minting process, a fluke that turned into something highly valuable. Coins like this are few and far between, which is why collectors are willing to pay top dollar to add them to their collections. For those of you who are curious about how to find a 1984 Washington quarter that might be worth a significant amount, it's important to note that error coins like the double die obverse are incredibly difficult to find. You won't come across one just by flipping through a few quarters at the local store. To locate one of these rare varieties, collectors often have to look through large amounts of coins or attend specialized auctions and coin shows where these rarities might appear. But for those who do manage to find one, the potential rewards can be extraordinary in the end. The 1984 Washington quarter serves as a testament to the fascinating world of coin collecting. It reminds us that sometimes the most seemingly ordinary objects can hold tremendous value. Whether you're a seasoned numismatist or a beginner just starting to explore the world of coins, the story of the 1984 Washington quarter is a reminder that history, rarity, and a little bit of luck can turn a simple quarter into something worth a life-changing amount of money. So, if you happen to find a 1984 Washington quarter in your pocket change, take a closer look. It could very well be a rare, error-struck coin worth far more than you ever imagined. After all, you might just be holding something worth $118,000. Top 5. Imagine this. You're going through your pocket change or rummaging through a drawer full of old coins, and you pull out a 1986 Washington quarter. At first, it looks like just another coin. Nothing special. It's easy to overlook. But what if I told you that this seemingly ordinary quarter could be worth far more than you ever imagined? In fact, there's a rare version of the 1986 Washington quarter that has made some collectors a lot of money. So much, in fact, that one sold for a staggering sum. But let's dive into how this coin went from being worth just 25 cents to being valued at tens of thousands of dollars. The 1986 Washington quarter is part of a long-running series of quarters featuring the portrait of George Washington, designed by John Flanagan. This design has been in use since 1932, and over the years, it has become one of the most recognizable coins in the United States. By 1986, this design had been in circulation for decades, and most people had no reason to think twice about the coin. In fact, this particular quarter was minted in the millions that year, with coins being produced in 3 different U.S. mint locations: Philadelphia, Denver, and San Francisco. Now, let's talk about the normal 1986 Washington quarter that most people are familiar with. When you look at a typical 1986 quarter, you'll see the familiar obverse design featuring George Washington's portrait, along with the words Liberty and the date 1986. On the reverse, you'll find the eagle design, along with the words United States of America and quarter dollar. It's a coin that's as standard as they come, used for regular transactions and easy to find in your pocket or wallet. But as with any mass-produced item, there are always variations, even in something as seemingly uniform as a coin. Sometimes, the minting process doesn't go quite as planned. Dies can wear down, or the machinery might malfunction, creating unique and sometimes surprising outcomes. This is exactly what happened with a rare subset of 1986 Washington quarters. A small number of them were struck with a noticeable minting error, one that would end up making these quarters incredibly valuable. This error is known as the double die variety. So, what exactly does that mean? Essentially, a double die error happens when the coin's design is struck more than once, but with a slight misalignment. This means that some parts of the image, like the date or the inscription, appear doubled. The result is a blurry, overlapping effect that's easy to spot once you know what you're looking for. For the 1986 Washington quarter, the double die error was most noticeable on the word Liberty and the date 1986, with the letters and numbers appearing slightly shifted or ghosted. At first glance, this might seem like a small flaw, but in the world of coin collecting, it's anything but. In fact, minting errors like this one are highly prized by collectors because they are so rare. The chance of finding a coin with an error like this, especially one that has been preserved in good condition, is incredibly slim. And it's not just any coin that will be worth money. Only those that exhibit the double die error in clear detail are considered valuable. So, if you happen to stumble upon one of these coins, you could be holding a rare gem. Let's be clear. Not every 1986 Washington quarter is valuable. In fact, most of the 1986 quarters that were minted are still in circulation and are worth just 25 cents, the face value they were assigned when they were first produced. However, for those who are willing to take the time to look for variations and errors, these coins can become incredibly valuable over time. This is why the 1986 Washington quarter with a double die error has captured the attention of numismatists and collectors from all over the world. They know that the rarity of the coin, combined with its historical significance, can result in a price tag far beyond its face value. But how valuable are we talking about? Well, one of these rare 1986 Washington quarters, in pristine condition, was recently sold for an incredible price. A coin in nearly perfect condition, with the double die error clearly visible, fetched a jaw-dropping sum. That's right, this coin was sold for $104,000. This is no ordinary coin. This is a once-in-a-lifetime find for a lucky collector who happened to come across it at the right time. The sale of this coin is a prime example of how the world of coin collecting can turn what seems like an ordinary object into something that holds tremendous value. The 1986 Washington quarter wasn't originally designed to be anything special, but due to the minting error, it became one of the most sought-after coins of its time. And the fact that one of these coins sold for $104,000 shows just how high the demand is for rare and unusual coins in today's market. Now, you might be wondering, how do you know if you have one of these rare 1986 Washington quarters in your possession? If you've got a 1986 quarter, you should inspect it carefully. The double die error is most noticeable on the word Liberty in the year 1986, where the letters and numbers will appear slightly doubled or shifted. If you see this effect, it's time to get excited. But keep in mind that the condition of the coin plays a huge role in its value. Coins that are well preserved and free of significant wear are much more valuable than those that are scratched, scuffed, or heavily worn. If you think you found a rare 1986 double die quarter, the next step is to have it professionally graded. Professional grading services, like the Numismatic Guarantee Corporation, NGC, or the Professional Coin Grading Service, PCGS, will evaluate the coin's condition and assign it a grade. The higher the grade, the more valuable the coin. A coin that is graded as mint state or proof will command a much higher price than one that is in poor condition. The 1986 Washington quarter with the double die error is a reminder that the world of coin collecting is filled with hidden treasures. What was once a simple coin worth just 25 cents has become a valuable artifact, sought after by collectors, investors, and enthusiasts alike. It's a testament to how rare errors in minting can turn ordinary coins into extraordinary finds. And for those who are lucky enough to find one, it's a reminder that sometimes, the smallest mistakes can lead to the biggest rewards. So, the next time you're sifting through your spare change or looking at a 1986 Washington quarter, take a moment to really examine it. It might just be the rare, double die variety that could be worth a small fortune. After all, you could be holding a coin worth $104,000.